Hi, Happy New Year. Today I'm going to share some exercises with you to strengthen and stretch the legs, the glutes, so the bum, the pelvis, the hip flexors and the core. So it's going to be a combination of yoga, pilates and some exercises that I've been given by my physiotherapist. So it's a bit of a combination of things. I hope you enjoy it. We'll just start by taking a couple of deep breaths together and then we'll get moving. So find a comfortable seat, sit up nice and straight. You can close your eyes if you feel comfortable to. And just pay attention to your breathing and start to deepen your breathing. So a deep breath in through the nose and a long breath out through the nose. Do that a few more times. Getting more oxygen to the muscles, into the body. Getting ready to move. A few more breaths. Nice and deep in and long out. Okay, you can open your eyes if you've closed them. And we're going to start lying down on the mat on one side. So you can start on your right hand side like me if you want to. And have your knees bent and just rest your head in your hand. Make sure your toes are touching. And then we're going to open the knees so your feet are still touching. So you're opening up the hip area and coming back down. So we're going to do that 10 times. So keep going, opening the knee as far as you can go till you feel that stretch and then back. 3, 4, 5, 6, keeping those feet together, 7, 8, 9, and on the last one, on number 10, we're going to hold it there. So stay there for 10, we're going to count to 10, and push your hand against your leg and your leg against your hand, so you've got some resistance there and you'll really start to feel it around the glutes and around the hip. That was probably about 5 or 6. Okay, for a couple more seconds. And bring your knee back down. And then place your hand on the mat next to you. This time we're going to open the knee up and we're going to bring the foot up with it. So really opening up wide. And we're going to do that 10 times. Not too fast. 2, 3, 4, 5, halfway, 6, and by now you should be starting to feel it around the glutes. 8, also really good for hip opening. 9, and the last one, 10. Bring your knee back down to the other knee and just stretch that leg out. So you can bend your foot, flex your foot so your toes are towards you. Get a nice stretch all along the hamstring. And then we're going to do the other side. So you can turn over. I'm going to switch so that I'm not facing away from you. So onto your left side. Head in your hand, knees bent. And the same, feet touching, toes touching. And we'll start by opening the knee up, but the feet stay together. 10 times. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and on the 10th time we're going to keep the knee up and push your hand against your leg and your leg against your hand for some resistance. You're going to stay here for 10, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Bring your knee back down. Place your hand on the mat, and then we're going to open up the leg. So bringing the foot up as well. 1, 2, keep going. 3, 4, 5, and if this movement is just too much, you don't need to go so open. You can just come to here, that's fine as well. Just go as far as you can. You should feel it, but if it's too much, take it down a notch. And I think that was 9 or 10. Alright, bring your leg back down, stretch it out, flex the foot. And a nice stretch along the back of your leg. Stay here for a couple of breaths. Don't forget your breathing, so nice deep breaths. Okay, lovely. So we're going to go onto the back now. We're going to do a few stretches. So I try not to do too many heavy exercises, one after the other. I try to space it out and I do some stretching in between. Okay, so you're going to bend your knees like I am, and we're just going to move the knees left and right. Just ease out any tension after the first exercises that we did. Okay, and now we're going to bring the right ankle onto your left leg. So you want your ankle to be kind of near the knee, and so your leg is open like this. If that's enough and you already feel the stretch, stay here. Otherwise, start to bring that left thigh towards you until you can catch it with your hands, and then you can pull that leg towards you till you feel a deep stretch around your right glutes, so the right side of your bum. You might also feel it in the hip flexor muscle, that's normal. See how it feels for you. If you need to take it down a bit, take it down a bit. Or if you need to bring it closer and get deeper, do that. Just stay here for a few more breaths. Try to flex the foot because that can protect your knee a little bit more, and it also keeps the leg more active. And then we're going to switch to the other leg. So bringing the legs back down. If you want, you can move your knees side to side again in between. And then we'll do the other side. So bringing the left, so I'm a bit more stiff on this side, this is my bad side. So putting the ankle roughly just below the knee, on your thigh. Trying to open that hip up, and then bringing the right thigh towards you, catching the thigh if you can. Try to relax, try not to hold the tension in your hips and around your glutes. Flexing the foot. And resting your head, you can look up at the ceiling. Make sure your head and your neck's nice and loose and relaxed. If you really want to make this a bit deeper, you can always place your hand on the knee and just gently push that knee away from you as well. That can also feel quite nice if you want to stretch out the hip flexors. But very, very, very gentle with those muscles. Deep breaths in this pose. And we'll come back down and stretch the legs out. So lying flat on your back. Okay. And now we're going to bring the left foot, your left heel towards your bum. And then in a fluid movement, lifting that leg up, stretching the leg, and bringing the heel all the way back down to the mat. So we're starting slowly. We're going to do this 10 times. Keep going. That's 2. Heel dragging on the mat to your bum, lift up, stretch the leg, and then heel back towards the mat. This is number 4. And it might feel easy to begin with, but it does build up. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and number 10. And then then when your heel's on the mat, we're going to go straight on to lifting the whole leg up as far as you can and back down. We'll do this 5 times. 2, 3. This really works the hip flexor muscle. 4. Last time. 5, and rest your heel, and we'll go straight to the other leg. So dragging the right heel towards your bum, lifting the leg up, stretching it out, heel to the mat. Keep going. It's number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and the last one, 10, and then a heel on the mat, and then lift your leg straight up. Do this 5 times. 2, 3, 4, and 5, and relax. And then we're going to bring both heels towards the bum. Leave your hands here on the mat by your side. Make sure the back of your head is pressed into your mat. So if you've got a bun or your hair up or something, it's better to take it down, then you can actually rest your head and your neck. And then we're going to lift the bum up, so we're going to go into yoga pose, bridge pose, but we're going to move in and out fluidly. So lifting up, lifting your hips up to the ceiling, and back down again. We'll do this a few times, 3 times. 2, 3, and down. And now we're going to go up, and we're going to stay up. So pushing down into your arms, pushing the back of your head down, and then lift the left leg up and switch. Don't look at your legs because that's going to strain your neck and your head and your shoulders. Keep going, switching legs. 4, keep your hips up, so try not to let your hips sag. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, last one, 10, and slowly bringing your bum and your hips back down to the mat. Moving the knees left and right gently, really gently. And then bring your knees up to your chest for a knee hug. You might want to move your feet around, make circles with your ankles. You can probably hear my ankles clicking. That's always nice. Okay, and from here you can either sit up however you like, or you can roll yourself up to come to seated position. All right. From here we're going to do some boat pose variations. We're going to move in and out of boat. So you've got your feet as mine are now, so your knees are bent. You want to think about keeping your chest close to your thighs. So stretching the arms out in front, tip back onto your tailbone and lift your toes up from the ground. And then we're going to lift the legs up so that your calves are parallel to your mat. And then come back down, and you can just tap the mat with your toes and back up. So we're going to keep going. 3, 4, 5. Keep a strong core, so keep your chest close to your thighs. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. On the 10th we're going to hold. We're going to stay here. 10 breaths if you can, or 10, count of 10. Push your legs towards each other, so don't have them open. Really push. Think about your core. Deep breaths. And coming slowly back down. Just give yourself a hug. So hug around your knees. Take a breath here. And then we'll do a few stretches after those harder exercises. So open the left leg out to the side and bend your right knee and place your foot in your groin area. And then you can reach your left hand towards your left foot, doesn't matter where it lands, if it's here or your ankle or your foot. And then open your chest up to the sky and reach the right arm over till you feel a nice stretch on the right hand side. Stay here for a couple of breaths. And then coming back up. And then put your right hand just behind your tailbone to keep you nice and straight. Left hand on the right knee. Breathe in here, look forward. And as you breathe out, start to twist gently around to the right. So this is a nice twist for the spine, and we're also opening up the hips as well. Keep that left foot active, flexed and active, so you feel a stretch in that straight leg. And then coming back to the centre and switching, so stretching the right leg out and then bending the left, putting the foot in your groin, reaching your right hand towards your right foot, opening the chest up towards the ceiling, and then the left arm over towards your right foot till you feel a really nice stretch on the left side. Deep breaths. Coming back up again, and then left hand behind your tailbone, right hand on the left knee. Look forward and breathe in, and breathe out, twisting gently round to the left, keeping that right straight leg nice and straight, foot flexed. And then coming back to the centre and sit cross-legged. And just notice which leg you've put in front of the other. We all sit automatically one way, so just notice that. Have a bit of place in front of you on the mat. And inhale, raising the arms up. Exhale, folding forwards, bringing your hands onto the mat. Maybe this is as far as you can go. Or maybe you can slide them further away and come down onto your forearms. And relax your head. And notice where you feel the stretch. You should be able to feel something in one of the glutes. So it depends which leg is in front of the other. But you should feel it on one side, around the hip, the glutes. A nice stretch there. And then breathing in, coming back up. And exhale. And now switch legs. So sit cross-legged the other way. Might feel a little bit odd. Always feels a bit weird for me. And then we'll do the same. So inhale, arms up. Exhale, folding forward. And now you should feel the stretch on the opposite side. But really relax into it, otherwise you won't feel anything. You kind of have to go a bit heavy, a bit, let your head go, really relax into it. And try not to hold any tension around your legs and your hips, just relax the muscles. And inhaling, coming back up, and exhale. And now we're going to come onto hands and knees. So you want your knees to be hip width apart, hands under your shoulders. And then we're going to turn the left leg out to the side a bit, so that your foot is out to the left hand side. And you're going to come up onto the left hand and the left knee and straighten that right leg out. So we're now not facing the floor, facing the side, and put your right hand on your right hip. Okay, we're going to lift that straight leg up. Make sure you're not lifting it, putting your leg forward. Keep your leg back so you can really feel it in your glute. And down. So we're going to do this 10 times. 2, quite quick, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, and on the 10th we're going to hold it there and stretch the arm up to the ceiling. So really making sure you keep that leg back so that you feel it in the glutes. That's where you should feel it, in this right hand side. Couple more breaths here. And come back down onto all fours. Just move your body around a little bit. Ease out any tension. If you really need to come off your hands, just come down to child's pose in between. So stretching the arms out, resting your chest on your legs. And when you're ready, we'll go over to the other side. So then your right leg comes out to the right, putting your weight into the right hand and the right knee. I'm going to go to the other side. And stretching the left leg out. Left hand on your hip. And we'll start with those leg raises. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2 more, 9, and on the 10th we're going to hold it, stretch the arm up if you want to, keeping that foot back so you feel the stretch in the right place in your glutes. Deep breaths, strong, pushing down into that right hand, nice and strong. And coming back onto all fours. And now open your hips, your knees wider. Bring your bum onto your heels and come to a different variation of child's pose with your knees wider. And rest your forehead on the mat. So just take a few restful breaths here. And then we'll come back up to all fours. And then straighten your left leg behind you. And then we're going to raise the leg up like so and back down. So keep going. We'll do this 10 times. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and on the 10th we're going to go into a yoga pose. So we're going to hold it, we're going to lift the right arm up if you can, otherwise just keep your hand down. And it might be nicer for your neck to keep looking down at your mat, otherwise you might want to look forward. Do what feels good for you, keep your breaths deep. And then bring your hand back and your leg back. And if you can, go straight to the other side. So stretch the right leg behind you. And we're going to do those leg raises. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and on the 10th we're going to keep it there and stretch the left arm out in front of you if you can. So this is also using the core muscles. Using some core strength. So suck your tummy muscles in. Imagine you're trying to reach the wall in front of you with your hand and the wall behind you with your foot. So really stretching out long. And then coming back. And then you can sit back into hero like this. So just sitting on your heels, or if you want to stretch your toes, I really like this. Bring your toes up so that you're sitting on your heels, and then you really feel a nice deep stretch of your toes. Not everybody likes this, but it's quite good to stretch those bits out as well. But you can choose, otherwise you can have the tops of your feet flat. And then we're going to stretch the left leg out to the side, so a nice hip opener. And left hand on the left leg. And just slide it down and reach the right arm up to the ceiling. So you can feel that it's a deeper stretch now in the hip flexor, the leg, and coming back up, and also in the toes if you're on your toes like me. And then we'll switch. So stretching the right leg out to the side, either up on your toes or rest the top of your foot down. Slide that right hand down your right leg and then lift the left arm up. Stay here for a couple of breaths. And then coming back. And now if you are with your feet flat like this, come up onto your toes now. And try, if you can, to stand up on your tiptoes, all the way up, and then rest your heels down, and rest your arms by your side. And take a big step on your mat with both of your feet pointing forward. So you can, let's start with the left leg forward, so we're all doing the same thing. And then bend that front leg, that left leg. So you're coming into warrior one. So the back leg is straight, front leg is bent, and then breathe in, lift the arms up, and breathe out here. So we're going to stay here. Another deep breath in. And as you breathe out, bring the hands down. So we're coming down to the mat. And then bring that right knee down onto the mat. So coming into a low lunge. And slide that right knee back until you feel a nice stretch here in your hip flexor, your right hip flexor. And you can stay like this on your fingertips, or if you're flexible and you need to get a bit deeper to feel it, you can bring both hands on the inside of that front leg, and you can work your way down onto a block, a yoga block, or onto your forearms. And then you'll also feel a stretch in the left hip flexor, but you can choose. Stay where it feels comfy. I'm going to stay up. I'll stay for a couple of breaths. Okay. And now we're going to tuck the right toes under, and if you can, lift that knee up. So this is more of a high lunge position. So you feel it a lot more, it's a lot stronger. And you can experiment with pushing that right heel away, or coming up more onto your toes, and see what it feels like. See how different it is, what you prefer, what feels stronger. And then rest the knee back down again. And we're going to walk the hands back, rest the top of your foot down. And then we're going to have a nice stretch on this left leg. So flexing that foot, you can even grab the foot if you want with that left hand and just pull your toes towards you. That's also a nice toe stretch, and it engages some more of the muscles in the leg, so you'll feel a really nice stretch on the back of that leg. And then we'll switch. So we're going to bring that left leg back and the right leg forward. So we'll start with that low lunge, so sliding the left knee back till you feel the stretch in your left hip flexor muscles. Deep breaths here, choosing how you want to stay. You might want to stay up like this, or you might want to experiment with coming down a bit deeper and seeing how that feels. Okay, and then we're going to tuck the toes under and lift that knee up, and then start to experiment with pushing the heel away or staying up more on the toes, and see how it differs, how it feels. If it doesn't feel good, don't do it. You can always bring the knee back down. One more breath here, deep breath, and then we're going to place that foot down and come up into warrior one. So both feet are forward, the front leg is bent, the back leg is straight. Couple of breaths here. And then stepping forward and release the arms. And then a nice wide stance on your mat, so legs really wide. And bending the knees deeply, so we're coming into goddess pose. We're going to start first with our hands on the hips. We're going to do some pulses with the hips. So very slowly up and down with the hips. So bouncing up and down. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So now you should really start to be feeling it. Really good for the legs, for the hips. Making everything a bit stronger. And then straighten the legs. Lift your arms up. Inhale. And exhale to goddess. So bending the knees and bending your elbows so your arms are out like this. We'll stay here for a few breaths. And then breathing in, straightening the legs, straightening the arms up. And exhale, keep your legs straight and start to fold forward. Bringing your hands down to your mat if you can. If you need to bend your knees a little bit, do. Don't strain your knees or hurt your legs. And let your head hang here. If you want to, you can move your hands out to take your big toes. And then bringing the hands to your hips, bend your knees slightly, and inhale as you slowly come up. And then stepping the feet back together. And we'll do a standing balance, as that's also really good for strengthening the legs and the glutes. And we'll do a hip opening one. There's two options. You can just do tree pose if you want to. So we'll start standing on the right leg. So that would be bringing the left foot either below your knee, like this, or above the knee, not on the knee, avoid that. And then you can choose your hand position, either hands in prayer hands in front of your chest, or up and open like branches of a tree. Or if you'd like to do something that's a bit different for your hips, you can go from tree pose, take that foot and bring the heel up so that it's roughly next to your right hip. And then try to relax that knee, that left knee down a bit. So you should feel this all around the pelvic area, around your glutes, around your hip flexor. And then you can stay here, holding onto that foot. Focusing your gaze, so looking at something, fixing your gaze on a point. You can hold on to a wall if this really isn't happening today, if your balance isn't good, grab onto something, you'll still get the benefits. And then coming out of the pose, bringing your foot back down, and we'll just shake it out a little bit before moving to the other side. And then standing on the left leg, and you can start by going into tree pose, and you can stay in tree if you want. You don't need to go on to the second option. So prayer hands in front of the heart. And then if you want to, bringing the arms up and opening them wide. So thinking about keeping that hip nice and open, that leg opening to the side. And then if you want to, you can grab that foot, bring the heel up next to your left hip, and try to relax that knee down. And you'll feel quite a strong stretch on the other side. Deep breaths, fixing your gaze, focusing your eyes, your mind, your body. And then gently releasing that leg, shaking it out again. Might want to roll the ankles. Then if you have a tennis ball at home, or I have one of these, like a spiky hard ball, but you can use a tennis ball. We'll just do this very quickly. Just roll it out under your feet. Feels really nice, just gets everything flowing. You can do this for longer if you want to at home, but we won't do it for long for the sake of the video. So switching to the other foot, but keep going if this feels good. This can be a nice one to do in the morning. Okay, great. And we'll finish with a couple of stretches. So just opening your feet to hip width apart, breathing in, lifting the arms up, and breathe out, folding forward. With straight legs if you can, because then you'll feel the stretch all along the back of your legs. But if you need to bend them slightly, do. And relax your head and your neck. And then catch your elbows with your hands. And if you want to, you can sway a little bit left and right. And then come back to the center and start to raise your elbows away from you. So your arms are past your ears, but you're still folding forward, keeping that nice forward bend. This is a nice stretch for the shoulders. If it doesn't feel good, just stay in the first position. And then coming back, letting the hands go. And then bend your knees a bit and slowly come up. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and let me know how you got on. And yeah, till next time. Bye.